Hirap sabihin na there was a moment of realization where I thought, oh, ang galing ko pala mag-isip. And sa
And
tingin
I noticed you're in the team with Jerry and Hugo. You're all left-handed players.
Yes, I know. We said we're the left-handed team, yeah.
Do you think that's maybe going to give you?
Opponent and tough conditions out there, very hot, but I'm just very happy with the win and excited to go at it again tomorrow.
She did what? Alex Eala kneels before cleaner after historic win, stadium in tears. Hold onto your seats, tennis fans, because what just happened in Auckland, New Zealand, isn't just a sports headline, it is a moment that is rewriting the definition of humility in professional sports. We are just 30 minutes removed from one of the most shocking, heart-stopping, and absolutely tear-jerking conclusions to a tennis match we have ever seen in the history of the WTA Tour. You tuned in for the tennis. You tuned in to see if the Philippines' golden girl, Alexandra Eala, could finally overcome her demons and defeat the Polish powerhouse, Magda Linette, at the 2026 ASB Classic. And oh boy, did you get a match? But what you didn't expect, what nobody in that stadium, from the commentators to the ball kids, expected, was what happened 30 seconds after the final point was scored. Forget the scoreline for a moment. Forget the blistering forehands and the tactical brilliance. Because right now, the entire internet is melting down not over a shot, but over a gesture. A gesture so pure, so unexpected, and so incredibly moving that it brought 3,000 people in the ASB tennis arena to a dead, stunned silence before erupting into the kind of applause that shakes the soul. We're talking about a 20-year-old superstar, fresh off the biggest win of her 2026 season so far, ignoring the cameras, ignoring her team, and dropping to one knee. Not to pray. Not to tie her shoe. But to kneel before a 70-year-old cleaning lady who was quietly sweeping fuzz off the court near the net. What Alex Eala did next, and the one sentence she whispered that changed that woman's life forever, has left millions of Filipino fans and tennis lovers around the globe reaching for the tissues. This is the story of the moment that stopped the tennis world. This is the story of the Angel of Auckland. Welcome back to Court Vision Plus, your number one source for the heart, soul, and drama of the tennis world. If you love stories that go beyond the baseline, do yourself a favor, smash that like button right now, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. You do not want to miss the updates on this developing story. And hey, we have a massive announcement. Make sure you also subscribe to our new sister channel, Court Vision Plus, for exclusive behind-the-scenes footage of this very incident. Now, let's take you back to center court. Let's break down exactly how this miracle unfolded. To understand the weight of this moment, we have to rewind the clock. We have to understand the pressure cooker that Alexandra Eala was walking into. This wasn't just any match. This was the quarterfinals of the 2026 ASB Classic. And standing across the net was not just an opponent, but a wall that Alex had never been able to climb, Magda Linette. For years, Linette had been the thorn in Eala's side. The veteran Polish star, ranked in the world's top tier, had beaten Alex in their previous encounters. She was the experience to Alex's youth, the consistency to Alex's flair. Critics were whispering that maybe Eala, despite all her talent, despite the Rafa Nadal Academy pedigree, just didn't have the grit to take down the seasoned veterans when it mattered most. The tension in Auckland was palpable. The Filipino community, as always, had turned out in droves. We're talking about a sea of flags, painted faces, and an atmosphere that felt less like a tennis match and more like a Manny Pacquiao fight night. The energy was electric, but it was nervous energy. Everyone knew the stakes. A win here would send Alex to the semifinals to face Wang Xingyu. A loss? Another almost moment. The match began, and it was a war. Linette, the fifth seed, came out swinging. She was solid. She was steady. She looked like she was ready to give the young Filipina another lesson in hard-court dominance. The wind was swirling, making conditions absolutely brutal. But something was different about Alex Eala today. There was a fire in her eyes we hadn't seen before. Maybe it was the off-season training. Maybe it was the hunger to prove the doubters wrong. But from the first serve, she wasn't just playing, she was hunting. The first set was a grinder. 2-all. 3-all. Then, the break. Eala's forehand, that lethal weapon she's been refining, suddenly caught fire. She broke Lynette to take the set 6-3. The crowd went wild, but the job wasn't done. Lynette is a fighter, she doesn't just go away. The second set? It was a masterclass. Eala stormed to a 4-love lead. It looked like a rout. But Lynette clawed back, winning 2 games to make it 4-2. The tension returned. Was this the choke? Was this the moment the rookie crumbled? Absolutely not. Eala held her nerve. She held her serve. And then, at match point, with the wind howling and the stadium holding its collective breath, she ripped a winner that sealed the deal. 6-3, 6-2. She had done it. She had defeated her nemesis. She was through to the semifinals. The stadium erupted. The roar was deafening. Eala! 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 Chanted the crowd. It was a career-defining victory. The kind of win where you expect the player to collapse to the ground, scream at the sky, or run to their box to hug their coach. And for a split second, that's what we thought would happen. Alex pumped her fist. She smiled that million-watt smile. She walked to the net to shake Magda Lynette's hand, showing the grace and sportsmanship she's known for. But as she turned away from the net, something caught her eye. And this is where the story shifts from a sports highlight to a human legend. It is customary in tennis for the winner to wave to the crowd, maybe sign a few oversized tennis balls, and do the on-court interview. The cameras were zooming in, waiting for Alex to take the microphone. But Alex stopped. Her eyes drifted away from the adoring fans and down toward the side of the court, near the net post. There, almost invisible to the thousands watching, was an elderly woman. We've since learned her name is Lola Maria, a name given by fans, though her identity is being protected for now. A 70-year-old cleaner, dressed in the modest uniform of the venue staff, she had hurriedly stepped onto the court during the break in play to sweep up some stray fuzz and debris before the post-match ceremony began. In the chaos of the victory, with ball kids running and cameramen jostling for position, Lola Maria had been bumped. Not maliciously, but carelessly. She had stumbled, dropping her broom, and looked visibly shaken, clutching her wrist. Most players, caught up in the adrenaline of a massive win, wouldn't have even noticed. They would have been blinded by the lights, the cheers, and their own ego. But Alexandra Eala is not most players. The cameras caught the exact moment Alex's expression changed. The joy of victory vanished, replaced by a look of intense concern. She ignored the tournament director walking toward her with a water bottle. She ignored the TV presenter holding the microphone. She walked straight toward Lola Maria. The stadium began to quiet down. The fans in the front row stopped cheering, confused. Where is she going? People whispered. Is she hurt? Alex reached the elderly woman, who was frantically trying to pick up her broom, looking terrified that she was in the way of the star player. You could see the fear in the woman's eyes. She thought she was in trouble. She thought she was ruining the moment. And then, Alex Eala did the unthinkable. She didn't just help her. She dropped to one knee. Right there on the hard court of the ASB Classic, fresh off a grueling hour-and-a-half match, the 20-year-old tennis sensation knelt down so she could be eye-level with the 70-year-old cleaner. A hush fell over the arena. You could hear a pin drop. The image was powerful, the young, athletic superstar in her vibrant tennis kit, kneeling before the humble, gray-haired woman in her uniform. It was a tableau of respect that transcended sport. Witnesses say Alex gently reached out and took the woman's trembling hand. She didn't rush. She didn't look at the cameras to make sure they were getting the shot. She was entirely focused on Lola Maria. Alex then took her own towel, her clean, white player's towel, and used it to gently wipe the dust from the woman's hands. She checked the woman's wrist, rubbing it soothingly. But it was what happened next that broke everyone. Microphones near the net picked up the faint audio, but for those in the stands, it was the body language that told the story. The elderly woman, realizing who was kneeling before her, started to cry. She tried to pull her hand away, seemingly ashamed of her status compared to the tennis star. Alex wouldn't let go. She held the woman's hand firmer. She looked her dead in the eye, smiling with a warmth that could melt a glacier. According to a courtside photographer who was just feet away, Alex whispered a single sentence in Tagalog, a sentence that has now gone viral across every social media platform in the Philippines and beyond. She said, "Nay, huwag pa kayong matakat, kayo pa ang tunay na champion dito dahil sa sipag nayo." The translation? Mother, please don't be afraid. You are the real champion here because of your hard work. Champion to a woman sweeping the floor. The reaction from Lola Maria was immediate. She covered her mouth with her free hand, sobbing openly. Alex stood up, helped the woman to her feet, and then, in a move that defied all protocol, hugged her. A genuine, two-armed, tight embrace. The crowd, realizing what had just transpired, didn't just cheer. They wept. We're talking about grown men in the stands wiping tears from their eyes. The Filipino fans, known for their passion, were absolutely losing it. It wasn't just about tennis anymore. It was about bayanihan. It was about respect for elders. It was about the Filipino heart. Alex then did something even more surprising. She picked up the woman's broom, handed it to a ball kid to put away, and walked Lola Maria over to her player's bench. She sat the stunned woman down in her chair, the chair reserved for the players, and handed her a bottle of water. Only then did she turn back to the court to accept her interview. The post-match interview was barely about tennis. The interviewer, clearly emotional herself, asked Alex about the moment. Alex, humble as ever, simply shrugged and said, "I saw my grandmother in her. We play a game with a ball, but she works hard every single day to make this stage ready for us. She deserves the applause more than I do." Social media exploded instantly. Within minutes, the hashtags #AlexEala and the real champion were trending worldwide. One fan tweeted, "I have never been prouder to be Filipino. #AlexEala is not just a tennis player, she is a national treasure. The way she treated that lady, I have no words." Another post read, "We have seen great shots in Auckland, but #AlexEala just hit the shot of the century, straight to the heart. This is what sportsmanship looks like. Class act." Even Magda Lynette, who had just lost the match, was seen clapping from the tunnel. When asked about it later, Lynette said, "Alex is a fierce competitor, but she is an even better human. That was beautiful to watch." This incident has completely overshadowed the fact that Alex is now heading into the semifinals to face Wang Xingyu. And let's talk about that for a second. This win against Lynette was massive. It proved Eala can handle the wind, the pressure, and the heavy hitters. Leading up to this, there were questions. Could she handle the physicality of the tour in 2026? This match answered that with a resounding yes. She dominated the baseline. Her serve stats were up. Her movement was elite. But honestly, nobody is talking about her forehand grip right now. They are talking about her heart. This moment carries echoes of other great sportsmanship legends, like Rafa Nadal stopping a match for a lost child, or Roger Federer's interactions with ball kids. But this felt different. It felt personal. It felt cultural. In a world where athletes are often seen as untouchable divas, #AlexEala reminded us that kindness costs nothing but means everything. She reminded us that no matter how high you climb, you never look down on anyone unless you are helping them up. Now, let's dive deeper into what this means for the rest of Alex's tournament run and her career trajectory. Because while everyone is rightfully focused on this beautiful moment of humanity, there's still a tournament to win, and #AlexEala is right in the thick of it. The semifinal matchup against Wang Xingyu is no joke. Wang is an Olympic mixed doubles silver medalist from the Tokyo Games. She's a crafty player with a ton of experience on the big stage. She hits the ball flat and hard, and she's not someone who gets rattled easily. On paper, this should be one of the toughest tests Alex has faced all year. But here's the thing. After what just happened, after that moment with Lola Maria, the entire tennis universe is rallying around Alex Eala. The neutral fans who didn't have a horse in this race? They're Team Eala now. The media members who were covering this as just another quarterfinal? They're invested. Everyone wants to see if this girl with the golden heart can go all the way. And let's be real, momentum is a real thing in tennis. Alex is riding a wave right now that money can't buy. She's not just physically prepared, she's emotionally supercharged. When you compete from a place of pure joy and gratitude, when you play not for yourself but for something bigger, that's when magic happens. Wang Xinyu is a fantastic player, don't get me wrong. She's going to bring her A game. But can she compete with a girl who has an entire nation and half the internet praying for her success? Can she handle the energy of a crowd that sees Alex as more than just a tennis player but as a symbol of everything good in sports? We're about to find out. Looking ahead to the potential final, if Alex can get past Wang, she could be facing either top seeds or rising stars who have been tearing through their side of the draw. The ASB Classic has always been a launching pad for players making their breakthrough. Think about past champions who used Auckland as a springboard into the Australian Open and beyond. Alex has the talent to join that list, and now she has the story. Speaking of the Australian Open, let's talk about what happens after Auckland. Alex is scheduled to compete in Melbourne, and with the form she's showing, she could make some serious noise down under. The Australian Open has one of the most diverse and passionate fan bases in tennis, and the Filipino-Australian community is massive. If they caught wind of what happened in Auckland, and trust me, they have, Melbourne Park is going to feel like a home tournament for Alex. She's also entered in doubles with Ingrid Martens, which gives her even more match play and rhythm heading into the singles draw. Doubles is often overlooked, but it's a huge advantage for developing players. It keeps you sharp, it gives you different looks, and it builds confidence. Plus, the chemistry and teamwork involved in doubles can translate into mental toughness in singles when you're out there alone. But beyond the immediate tournaments, beyond the rankings and the prize money, what happened today in Auckland is going to define Alex Eala's career in ways that no trophy ever could. She's 20 years old, and she already understands something that takes most athletes decades to learn, if they ever learn it at all. She understands that legacy isn't built on wins and losses. It's built on the lives you touch and the example you set. Think about the greatest athletes of all time. The ones we remember aren't just the ones with the most titles, although that helps. We remember Muhammad Ali not just for his boxing but for his courage and conviction. We remember Billie Jean King not just for her grand slams but for her fight for equality. We remember Arthur Ashe not just for his elegant game but for his grace and activism. And in the modern era, we celebrate players like Roger Federer and Serena Williams not just for their dominance but for their impact on the sport and the world. Alex Eala, at just 20, is writing herself into that conversation. The kneeling incident, as it's already being called, is going to be replayed for years. It's going to be in highlight reels, and documentaries, and motivational speeches. Teachers are going to show it to students. Parents are going to show it to their kids. It's going to be a case study in humility, respect, and character. And here's the beautiful part, Alex didn't do it for any of that. She didn't do it for the cameras or the clout. She did it because that's who she is. That's the upbringing. That's the Filipino culture of manopa, of honoring elders, of seeing dignity in every person regardless of their station in life. She did it because in that moment, she saw a person who needed help, and she helped. Simple as that. But the ripple effects are anything but simple. Reports are now coming in that the ASB Classic organizers have not only given Lola Maria a VIP pass for the remainder of the tournament but are also working on a special recognition for her years of service. There's talk of a formal ceremony, of honoring the often invisible workforce that makes these events possible. All because one player took 10 seconds to see her. That's the power of one good act. That's the power of leading by example. And it's not just the tournament organizers. Brands are paying attention. Sponsors are paying attention. In an era where athlete marketability is often tied to social media follower counts and viral moments, Alex just created the most authentic viral moment imaginable. She didn't stage it. She didn't plan it. She just lived her values,
there was a
and the world
moment
noticed.
of realization.
She proves that you can be fierce and kind.
Mag-isip.
She proves
And
that you can be competitive and compassionate. She proves that you can chase greatness and still see the people around you. She proves that the truest measure of a person isn't how they treat the people above them, but how they treat the people below them. And in treating Lola Maria with such dignity and respect, Alex elevated not just that one woman, but all of us. She reminded us what we're capable of when we lead with our hearts. She reminded us that the smallest gestures can have the biggest impact. She reminded us that we're all human, and we all deserve to be seen. So yes, we'll be watching the semifinal against Wangsinyu with bated breath. We'll be analyzing every point, every game, every set. We'll be cheering for Alex to advance and keep this magical run going. But no matter what happens on the scoreboard, we've already witnessed something far more important. We've witnessed the birth of a legend. Not a tennis legend, although that may come in time. But a human legend. A story that will be told and retold, that will inspire and uplift, that will remind people for generations to come that sports, at their best, are about so much more than winning. They're about who we are when no one is watching. They're about what we do when we have the choice between taking the easy path and doing the right thing. They're about the legacy we leave, not in record books, but in hearts. Alex Eala, at 20 years old, has already built a legacy that most athletes never achieve in a lifetime. And something tells me she's just getting started. What a story. What a player. What a human being. This is why we love sports. It's not just about the wins and losses, it's about the character revealed in the heat of battle. Alexandra Eala showed us today that being a champion starts with being a good person. I want to know what you think. Did this moment make you tear up? Do you think Alex Eala has what it takes to go all the way and win the ASB Classic title? And what is your message for Alex and Lola Maria? Drop your thoughts, your prayers, and your messages of support in the comments section below. Let's flood the comments with the Philippine flag and blue hearts to show our love for Alex. And listen, if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most touching moments in tennis history, please do us a huge favor. Click that thumbs up button. It helps the channel grow and helps us bring you more amazing stories like this. Don't forget to subscribe to Court Vision Plus and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a breaking update. We will be covering Alex's semifinal match play-by-play, so you need to be here. Also, a massive shout out. Please go and subscribe to our brand new channel, Court Vision Plus, where we will be posting the raw, unedited footage of the crowd's reaction and more exclusive clips from the tournament. You don't want to miss that. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ball, but keep your heart in the game. This is Court Vision Plus, signing off.
Sabihin na there was a moment of realization where I thought, oh, ang galing ko pala mag-isip. And
Great. And I noticed you're in the team with Jerry and Hugo. You're all left-handed players.
yes, I know, we said we're
You're looking for a second week at the Australian Open?
I'm looking for a second round first, and then the third, I take it step by step.